Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show, where you'll find health and fitness inspiration, motivation, and information shared in 15-minute episodes. Tune in while getting a move on to make leading and enjoying the benefits of a healthy lifestyle almost too easy. It's the Fit 15. And now your host, Catherine Basu.
Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show. I'm your host, Catherine Basu, and I'm so excited and honored to have Jena Rodriguez as my guest today. Jena is someone who I met when I lived in Houston, Texas, and was just in my first few years, especially when I first met her, of owning my fitness company, Fit Armadillo, and she was always super inspiring when I would hear her speak, and loved her personality and have stayed in touch with her thanks to our awesome online world and mostly through her Facebook community, and was on her podcast about a year ago and have been thinking about having her on the podcast, but something came up that we'll talk about a little bit briefly when we start our chat. So I'll save that part for that time, but that had me think about really actually reaching out to Jena and having her on the show. So I'm really excited to share this with you. If you are an entrepreneur and you are not a member of Jena's Facebook group just yet, stop walking, start running to your computer or your phone, and definitely request access, because I have to tell you, it is my favorite group on Facebook. I know I'm going to say this again in the interview, but it's not just something I said because Jena was live with me. It's been so supportive, an amazing community, supportive from in all aspects. I could have a whole podcast where I just go on and on about how much I love that Facebook group, but it's all because Jena is the leader. So no matter what stage of business you are in right now, I would recommend going and checking out Jena's group. But especially if you're in that beginning stage of entrepreneurship and you're just looking for a supportive community, there are tons of communities out there. You could waste your time in many of them, but her group is so awesome because it's her group, and she has clients in there that she's coached who you can tell because they have really solid businesses and great things that they're offering, and they're also, just like Jena, very supportive. So like I said, I could go on and on. I'm not going to do it, I think. We'll see. No, I promise I'll get back on track here. I'm going to introduce you to Jena by reading her bio in case you haven't met her yet. So Jena is a brand, business, and brave strategist that systematically multiplies and amplifies more money, clients, and impact for entrepreneurs internationally. She has gone from bankrupt to a brave master in her own journey and is committed to unleashing the potential of other entrepreneurs. Jena, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you as my guest today.
I am thrilled to be here with you, Catherine. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so we'll definitely have to lead people who are listening, because I kind of have two, I would say, main segments of who listens. It's beginning exercisers who I actually, created the podcast for, but then also entrepreneurs who may or may not be beginning exercisers, because that's kind of who my friends are these days. So
right.
have to have them go check out your podcast, which you had me as a guest on, which was awesome and really fun, and just always love getting inspired by your guests. So if they're looking for more, that's a good place to go. And
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I love about what you do in your Facebook group, which is something I got connected to from being on your show, is just the really supportive community, but then also how real you are with us, the day, how a day in the life of an entrepreneur actually is, and things that you even struggle with, right?
Yep.
And so one thing you had mentioned recently was talking about your health journey. So I'd love to have you share that, at least to get us started with the listeners, just because I know they could probably relate.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you. Yeah, Brave Entrepreneurs is the group, and I talk about, it's kind of like nothing's off limits, and I was just being really honest. I think is when you and I talked about having me on the show.
Yeah.
I was just being really honest, and I was leaving the gym. I was doing a Facebook Live, leaving the gym, and then the truth is I've struggled with my health journey and my weight and things like that. It hasn't been where I've wanted it to be, and but it really, when I look at all areas of my life, whether it's the health or relationships or money or business or whatever it is, There's ebbs and flows to it. There's decisions we have to make. There's disciplines we have to put in place. And I just recognized in myself that I was really done with how my body was, where my weight was, I was just feeling uncomfortable. And that came to me in, you have to get to the done sometimes,
right.
At least in my
Yeah.
Even in business, it's like, as an entrepreneur, are you done the way it is? Are you ready to take action? Because it's going to be, usually it's uncomfortable.
Right.
And so, in December, the very end of December, I was like, that's it. I'm like, and then I just, kind of went back to the basics and the things that worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have tried them all. And so I do recommend, you got to find a system, find someone, find the experts. But find the system that works for you.
Yep.
Otherwise, you'll just resist it the whole time, right? So, basically for me, what works is tracking my food, right? Just tracking and paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So then what I saw, and I don't remember if I said this on the video, the Facebook Live or not, but part of it I was like, well, so however I treat this conversation called health is also the way I'm treating my business at times. It's like I'm slacking, or I'm making excuses, or I'm not showing up the way I committed to myself. And one of the brave, I suppose, formulas is decision, commitment, and action. And you got to keep making those three happen, or the results show.
Right.
And so I saw that for myself in my health conversation. And I also see it, show up in my business at times. And so I was just having that kind of real conversation with everybody in the group called, we need to call ourselves out here.
Right.
And so I got back on, because I hadn't worked out in a long time. Like I was tracking my food, and then in May I really didn't. I was slacking, and then I just caught myself and and I went back to recommitting. Right, the decision had been made, in December.
Right,
but I stayed in the commitment of it, and so the commitment, I think, is the part that people.
Hey friends, it's Catherine, and that sound is the reminder for those of you who use the podcast to get that out and back 15-minute walk in during your busy day to turn around, because we're halfway through 15 minutes. All right, back to Jena.
Struggle with, whether it's the health or the business or the relationship, whatever it is every day we have to recommit. Every day we have to get to choose, and then on top of that commitment, take action.
Right.
And that's what I was recognizing for me. And then I just thought I'd share it with everybody else.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if this is serving me right now, maybe it can serve somebody else. And that was where the conversation came from. So it's and I am the first to admit when I'm not committing on a daily basis, and therefore not taking the action necessary. And that's true for either my business or my health.
No, I love that. And there's definitely are so many correlations, and that's why I feel like
Right.
I like working with entrepreneurs, is that there is that parallel between health and how you can get your health habits in order and how you can have a successful business. So definitely love
agreed.
that. I mean, I'm sure we could talk about that in more detail, but do you have any insights just talking about that process of going from decision to commitment? Like, how do you, maybe that's more of like a mindset shift, I feel like. So how do you get that part going before you're taking action? Do you have any insights on that or tips on that?
Yeah. Sure. So, number one is you got to get out of your story about it. So if you have something you want or something that's not working, you got to first own it. It's like, okay, this is not working because I say so, not because of the circumstance, not something outside of me, not, I'm clear. I had gained weight. I was the highest weight I'd ever been. And that had nothing to do with anyone else except me and my choices.
Sure.
That's it. So first is taking ownership, and then making a new decision that's going to serve the outcome that you desire. So it's parallel. Honestly, it's part of anything in life, right? It's any decision, anything in your life that's not working. You've got to make a new decision, but sometimes we're not aware that we're deciding.
Right.
So when it's like when I found myself, I'm like, it's nobody's fault that I gained the weight.
Right.
It's me. And it's nobody's fault that I don't have enough sales in my business, or it's nobody's fault that, my relationship's falling apart, or whatever it is inside your life. Now, the good news is my relationship's working. We're together 17 years now. But that's
not easy, right? But
yeah, you're married too. Like, it's a daily commitment, right?
Right.
We have to say yes every day. And not make it do the blame game, right?
Right.
So that's number one is you got to kind of like call yourself out a little bit and get clear. Are you making a story up that's serving you? Or are you making a story up that's not? And then make a decision about that story. And I just was in December going, I'm done. Like, my decision is I'm done with how it is. I'm done, struggling with it. I'm done worrying about when I'm going to lose the weight and how fast can I lose the weight. Like all these things that I was making up decisions about. So that's number one. And then number two, commitment is, for me, it's, what is my goal, right? What is my vision about it? Where do I want to go with this? And then when I have that, I then have to commit to what it takes to get there. And so committing every day means, like committing to the actions, committing to the right mindset, committing to the decision over and over and over and over. Because in May, I found myself starting to make excuses again.
Sure.
Starting to be like, this brownie is not that many points.
Right.
That's an excuse. That's a justification, actually. And so, justify, like, notice your justifications, notice your excuses. And so it's kind of like the numbers don't lie. So once I started just logging it into my tracker, it's kind of like, oh, like, that's what that is. So I couldn't give myself this illusion that things were really working when they really weren't, So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
It's really, you got to get clear on what you're deciding now. Like, sometimes, we're always deciding. That's the thing. We're always in a decision process. And if you want something to be different, we actually have to make a new decision and be aware of it, and then see the vision, get committed, and then make a list of the 3 actions you're going to commit to. It doesn't have to be 100 different actions, but pick the 3 primary actions would help you get to the goal and make you feel, empowered and confident and whatever those things are. And then commit to those actions every day by taking them.
Right.
So commitment it's that bridge between the decision and the action. And we are committing every day as well. Like, just notice what you're really committed to.
Right.
I was committed to waking up and not going to the gym.
Right.
I was committed to, I want the brownie more than I want to track it. Right. So it's the same in business for me, right? Being the entrepreneur, being the business coach that I am, it's like, what are you committing to? You've made a decision called, I want to make $100,000 in my business this year, but you're not committing to what it takes. And you're not, I've said, especially as a coach, I'm giving you the actions.
Right.
Right. But are you committing to them on a daily basis?
Right.
And if we aren't, and as a fitness expert and someone that's helping people with their, health, you can see that every day, right?
Yep.
People either take the action or don't, and they get the results that they get.
Yep.
So yeah, it's the bridge.
I love that. And I think, a lot of things that you were mentioning, I love that story, the story you've been telling yourself piece, because that's really a lot of like behavior change stuff, like psychology of behavior change stuff that we often don't think about unless we've been exposed to it in some way. So
right.
I think that'll be really helpful for people. And then other things you said, I bother people about all the time, but I think it's worth reminding them again. Like you said, just tracking things. It doesn't even matter what your goal is. I started training for a marathon, but when I first started, getting running, I'm like, oh, I've been running like, 40 miles a week. Of course, I've been running like 15 miles a week because I've been, in my business and running most days, but not every day. And then, and I won't call out the person themselves. Let's say it's a friend or family member who recently, we won't name any names, but I don't think they always listen to the podcast, so it's okay. But they were saying to me that
they want to take their health more seriously, but they find that maybe this is like the story piece, that it's harder for them to lose weight, now in their 30s versus in their 20s. And I've known this person in their 20s and 30s, and I've known their habits very well. So I think, just kind of mentioning them, if you actually just take that step, not trying to be judgy, because I was admitting like this happens to me too, but just actually being aware of what the facts are going into, moving forward, you might be surprised of some of the habits you've just kind of gotten into that are habits and you don't even realize you're doing them, so taking inventory is really important for business and for fitness related things. So
it's so good. Yeah. So powerful, because the thing is test your story.
mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I get it, because there's a collective, buy-in to the story. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm like, she's 30, I'm in my 40s.
Right.
Or I could say, what if I look out there and I see people that are older than me and they don't have any problem working out?
Right.
So
right.
if it's like, if you can find just one person, only one person that is healthier than you, that has a business bigger than you, and they're older than you, like they basically go against what you just said your story is, it disproves the story. It's not fact, it's fiction.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that.
So you do have a choice. That's the rub. That's the rub right there. Yeah.
So deciding, I'm sure you have many reasons why you wanted to kind of get back on that health train and get those health habits going, but do you have anything specifically, like once you are in that routine, do you find that whether it's fitness or eating habits, do you find that those help you become more successful in your business? Could you talk about that a little bit for the entrepreneurs?
Yeah, for sure. So and I think it just is, one of the not the recognition, but the story I was speaking to, it's kind of like I was ignoring or trying to justify. Justifications are huge over here. So that's what I call them. And, it's kind of like, my weight doesn't matter. I can still be successful in my business. My weight doesn't matter. It's like, no, not going to matter. Right. It's not going to like make or break. However, I felt like, in December, that's really what came up for me, is I felt like a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, it's like, why is it one area of my life I'm successful in, or, and still room to be successful in, and this other area I'm justifying and going, I don't need success over here. Right. I don't need that. I don't, it doesn't matter. I can be heaviest weight ever and all that. And so it felt like there was a little bit of this imposter syndrome going on.
Sure.
And so, I think the thing about being health conscious, or just taking care, even if it's walking 30 minutes a day or just getting more active. Number one, I do sit at a computer all day long. And I, am I 100%? No, I'm not about 100%. Like, it's not about that, but it is about putting in the commitment and the actions, and, and making the decisions and being just responsible for it. And so the correlation I see is my confidence goes up, my trust in myself to do what I tell myself I'm going to do. Right. That goes up. Right. So that's what was out of alignment last year. And really for a couple years, is I'd tell myself I'm going to go do this in my business. I'd go do that, but then I wouldn't do it over in my health. Even though I was telling myself to do what I needed to do. Right. So there was this, it's an internal conflict going on, and I still have, it's like I said, I still have to daily choose and be aware and make that choice and commit and, take the actions and all of that. But I do it from a place of, freedom to choose versus I have to choose it.
Right.
Like, find the necessity of it, find the reason why you're doing it. And, whether it's business or health or what have you, and then it's like, it's like step into it, because I just find, like you said, those parallels and those correlations between, do you have energy or do you not have energy? Right. There is at some point, it's like, if you're not healthy, your health will suffer if you're trying to grow a big business.
Right.
Right. And so you do want to take care of it, and take care. So it's like, I call a business a baby. Well, I'm a baby too. My health is my baby. And so if I'm not nurturing both of them, and like I said, I'm not 100% perfect at it. It's not about perfection, but it is about awareness. It's about, every day choosing it. If you find yourself constantly complaining about it or bitching about it, it's like, okay, time to make a new choice, right? That's not serving you.
Right.
And I think, that's what I at least take on for myself. So I don't know if that makes sense or if that helps someone out there, but it does. Your confidence is tied to all of it. Your trust in yourself is tied to both areas. So if you're accomplishing something over here and you're, kind of failing per se over in another area, then, there's lack of alignment.
Right.
There's a struggle and resistance inside of that. So I just know right now I've put myself on probably my success in my business is definitely bigger than my success in my health. I'll just be honest. However, I've turned the car of my health vehicle in the right direction. So now it's kind of like we're going to the West Coast together. My business and my health are going towards West Coast instead of one going west and one going east. Right. So it's more of a flow, right? I think you start, when you do take on your health, and because your body is your vehicle, your mind is your vehicle. In order to have a successful business, you have to have the body and mind to do it.
Yeah.
So make sure that you're at least driving in the right direction together.
Right. No, I love that analogy. That's awesome.
Yeah. I just made it up.
See? I might have to refer back to this,
Yeah, you do, right? Yeah, it makes sense. It's just, drive in the same direction.
Mm-hmm. So your whole business is all around kind of this theme of being brave, right? When you're helping people, you have the brave entrepreneur. What is the exact title of your group? Because I'm trying to think of it right now.
Oh yeah. The group, my company's Brave Masters, like bravemasters.com with an S. And then the group on Facebook is Brave Entrepreneurs.
Got it. I was gonna say, I think that's the name, but you never know. I might have it.
I know, right? I say it a lot, right? But is that the title? Yes.
So maybe you could talk to us about, what it takes to be brave and what that means, just in general, or in our fitness journeys, or in business, or in all of the above.
Yeah. I probably won't be able to remember all 10 in this moment, but there's 10 core values kind of thing that you can see on my website, and you can see in the group because I posted it at the top. I have a poster that's got these 10 things on it that I sometimes, pull out of my closet. And the bottom line is say yes and then figure it out, right? That's that decision, and then go take action. So say yes to yourself, say yes to your business, say yes to your health, and then figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, you hire the help, you hire Catherine, or you hire a business coach, whatever the challenge is. And that's one. The other is be positively optimistic. Right? What Brave Masters really do is they're positive and optimistic. They say yes. They are vulnerable. They're transparent. They're it's kind of like they know that they create their reality, right? And so they take responsibility for that. They take responsibility for how their lives show up. I think that's being brave. And then, it's really about being uncomfortable at times and doing it anyway. Right. And I'm pretty much uncomfortable as much as I can. When I came across this, concept of brave, I was standing on a stage, which I used to be very uncomfortable with. And I didn't speak in my business for like 6 years. And then in 2013, I made a decision in 2012 that said, I'm done with that. I'm going to go speak. Right. And then I said yes, and then figured it out. And so I was standing on stage, and all of a sudden I said, entrepreneurship is not the easy way. It's the brave way. And I was like, wow, where'd that come from? Right.
Yeah.
And then it stuck, like it became my mantra.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from that, I started to explore why brave? Why do I say brave? Where did I become brave, or when did I become brave? And the truth is it goes way back to being a child and a teenager and really being in the hardships that I grew up in. I started to I can go back to all the circumstances and go, wow, that was brave. I moved out at 14.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. What else? And then I went to college at 16. That was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, like, who is this chick? It's 16. I'm 23 years old. Why is this 16-year-old in my class? Right. So, so I just saw all of the brave because every time I got my brave on, my life opened up.
Mm-hmm.
My life changed.
Mm-hmm.
Possibilities started to, show up. So, that's why I'm so big about it. Right. That's why it's really my thing now, and my brand clearly is because everything I've done in my life that grew, had me grow in a particular way, had me expand in a particular way, or had me be successful in a particular way, it was because I got my brave on. So here we are.
I love that. And now I know, see, I didn't even know that there are these 10 things, even though I've heard you say that phrase on the podcast. And so
top 10 things brave masters do, I think is what I call it.
I like that though. I'm going to have to get it out, and just because, I mean, I agree with you. I've definitely found the same thing that, it's scary, but then, once you survive it.
We survive it. Exactly. Exactly. Right. The marathon, a little scary, a little like, holy crap, that's a lot of miles, but you're going to do the work, and then you survive it.
Yeah.
And then you accomplish, and then your confidence goes up. Like every time I got brave and I did something, my confidence went up.
Yeah.
In myself. Right.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome, Jenna. Well, you have a lot of stuff going on the next few months, and then obviously want to get people checking out at least the podcast and the group, but what could you share with us? And I'll put links to all this in the show notes, but just so people can hear it for.
Yeah, for sure. You can, number one, go to bravemasters.com, and right there on the homepage, if you scroll like ever so slightly, you'll see the podcast, which is called the Brave Entrepreneur Podcast. Then there's free resources, clearly, and there's also the top 10 ways to be a brave master. I think that's on my story page or about me page. And then my group, which I would absolutely love your audience to jump into with you and I both, is you can go to bravemasters.com/bravefb, which stands for Facebook, right? FB, so brave FB at the end. And just, there's like 2 questions you answer, because we like to know that you're real, you're not some robot or scammer or something like that. And I'm just on a mission to help, more entrepreneurs be successful. So that's the best way to find out about me, about what's happening, or to listen in, or just reconnect with me. And yeah, clearly on my social media, I share my life. I share what's happening. Like I told you earlier, I live by the beach. I'm in Houston, but I live by the beach every summer with my daughter. And so we're heading to Destin, Florida for a month.
Love it.
I can work and play from anywhere, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's awesome things happening and some events and things that I'm speaking at, but you'll see all that's, happening on my social media and in the group for sure. The group is very active. I give you a lot of training and a lot of information and a lot of what's happening and all of that too.
Yeah. And I I can't say enough good things about your group, because I'm in there. I love it. It's my favorite group on Facebook. So
yay. Thank you. And I didn't pay you for that.
I know, right? And we'd love to have more people. I mean, I know I have entrepreneurial friends who I've probably told about that they're listening to join your group, and now they have another reminder. But then even I have clients who, they have some entrepreneurial ideas, and I'm always trying to push them in the right direction. But,
yeah,
I can only do so much. So
yeah, they got to get their brave on, right? They got to get their brave and take action. But we can only share and show them what's possible. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I'd love to get them inspired and get their things out into the world. So
yeah, me too. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, Jenna. Well, I'm excited to have had you on the podcast, and I look forward to catching up more in the group. And thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, Catherine. So good to be with you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for listening to the Fit 15. For show notes and more, visit fitarmadillo.com/podcast. See you next time.
Hi friends, it's Catherine, and I'm so glad I was able to introduce you to Jena, one of my favorite entrepreneurs. I know I gained a lot of inspiration for my own health and fitness journey, and always love chatting entrepreneurship with her and seeing the parallels between our health and our business journey. So definitely maybe even re-listen to some of those things we chatted about. Do not, though, forget to go check out her Facebook page. You'll find a lot of value there, and definitely her podcast for more inspirational interviews with entrepreneurs. I know one thing that was really key for me in my entrepreneurial journey was hearing stories like that, the stories that Jena shares on her podcast, to just keep me inspired on some of those tough days, because it's tough, but it is worth it. As Jena would say, entrepreneurship is not the easy way, but it is the brave way, and it can be really worth it once you get things going. So in that vein, I wanted to share that today, Friday, June 15th, 2018, the day the episode is going live, it is the last day to sign up for an early bird spot for my fitness retreat that's happening this August 2018. So it's the last week of August, starting August 26th, which is a Sunday, for 4 nights in beautiful, sunny Redondo Beach, California. What we're going to be doing is 6 awesome ladies will join us and join me, and we'll get to work on our fitness and business goals. So this is not going to be super structured. I do have a final day of the retreat where I can bring in some extra talent. Some of my fellow entrepreneurs here, they can help you with things like your headshots, videography, any special topics that the group really wants to learn about. But the main thing that we'll do, and why you would want to join us, is if you are looking at a big to-do list of things you need to do in your business, but just struggling to get them done. They're things that you know will help you grow your business in the long term, but you're just trying to make it by one day at a time, catering to your current clients, keeping them, and then getting new clients, and you're not able to focus on those bigger ideas and try to really strategize and move your business forward for the long term. So why I've picked the end of August is that this can be a time, I know it's true for my business and lots of other businesses, where because our clients end up being on vacation, sometimes unannounced, it can be a really great time to take some time away for yourself and strategize before the fall, before the busy holiday season when you want to have sales, especially if you're a product-based business. So that's kind of the spirit in which I've designed the retreat. And also, I don't want you to spend your actual summer vacation that you have planned with your family working. I know that I have done this in the past. Because I'm out of my office, I have more clarity in things I want to get done, but I'm not going to do it this year. I don't want you to have to do that either. I might do 1 or 2 emails, especially for my clients. It's okay, but not doing some of this longer term work. So if this sounds good to you, I want you to definitely check out the page fitarmadillo.com/retreat to learn more and what I have planned for you. And if you aren't able to come join us for the retreat in August for whatever reason, but want to kind of see what I have planned for you, maybe test it out a little bit, I'd love to have you join me on Monday, June 18th, 2018, for a free virtual retreat day where I'll have you work on some business stuff, some strategy, some fitness things. That's my main area of expertise. So I'll be happy to share a few business insights from what I learned in my personal journey, but definitely can dive deeper in the fitness areas. We'll have at least 1 live workout together, and basically going to go through a day in the life of one of the attendees at the retreat, so you can kind of see what it will be like and if that's something that would provide you value. So I hope you'll come check that out. That is a free day. I'm going to host another one after that, if things go well, of course. That will be a paid day. So if you want to just join in on that and just experience it and give me your feedback, I highly recommend you check that out. All right, this episode has gone super long. I know, I'm sorry. I hope you got value out of it. I'm really excited about the retreat, so I couldn't not share that with you, especially since today's the last day for the early bird sign up. So if you're interested, I hope you'll go check it out. And that's all I've got for you guys. Thanks for listening. If you subscribe to the podcast, I will chat with you tomorrow. Bye.